Mary redeemed a $50,000 cash prize playing Chumba Casino online.
I was only playing for fun, so winning was a dream come true.
Chumba Casino is America's favorite free online social casino. You too could have the chance to win life-changing cash prizes. Absolutely anybody could be like Mary. Be like Mary. Log on to ChumbaCasino.com and play for free now. No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. 18 plus terms and conditions apply. See website for details. The voice in the preceding commercial was not the actual voice of the winner.
When you bundle your renters and auto insurance with Progressive, you could save money, but it doesn't cover any terrible memories living rent-free in your head.
Remember when one of your best players got injured, but not like on a play or anything? He got injured celebrating a play, and it's not like it was a game-winning play or in the playoffs. And he was out the rest of the season because he was injured while celebrating? Yeah.
Sorry, we can't save you from that memory, but we could save you money bundling your renters and auto insurance with Progressive. Coverage from Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and third-party insurers. Renters insurance and bundle discount not available in all states or situations.
Several years ago, my son was doing a report for school. He liked the athlete Josh Hamilton. I, too, liked the athlete Josh Hamilton. We did some research and found a YouTube video by a group called I Am Second out of Texas. The video is Josh Hamilton telling his story. Josh Hamilton was a Christian. Josh Hamilton struggled. Suddenly, I was very, very interested in this group called I Am Second. Over time, I would see their bracelets on people and their merch and other videos, and I continued to follow their story. As years progressed, I actually was able to somehow, God would have it, that I could write a blog post about Miley Cyrus, of all people, for I Am Second. Over the years, I've had a really good opportunity to just somehow have this 30,000-foot connection with I Am Second. Doug Bender, my friend, who's written many of their books, has been on the podcast twice. My guest today is John Humphrey. John Humphrey serves as the vice president of I Am Second, providing strategic, operational, and tactical direction to the organization. He's also the executive producer of I Am Second film projects. Prior to joining I Am Second in 2008, he created, produced, and marketed projects with the major sports media companies, television networks, and nonprofits that told the personal stories of high-profile athletes. Today, my guest and my new friend, one of my favorite movements and organizations, is John Humphrey, Vice President of I Am Second.
Welcome to the Unscripted podcast. My name's Corby LaCroix, and the song you're hearing right now is called Great and Mighty One, available on Spotify, iTunes, or wherever you get your music. But for now, recording from the Unscripted studio at the Junction in Old Hilliard, here's your host and my friend, Aaron Conrad.
Great Redeemer, God of grace.
All right, everybody, welcome to Unscripted from my studios at the Junction in Old Hilliard. Corby, thank you for the introduction on audio as always. I'm pretty excited today. You all hear me say that quite a bit, but if you know me, you know that I am a massive fan of the I Am Second movement and ministry. And this is actually my third podcast with I Am Second. The first two were with my friend Doug Bender, who was awesome. And let my guest go ahead and introduce himself from I Am Second.
Sure. Well, I'm John Humphrey, and I've served here at I Am Second for almost 13 years in the position of initially the project leader. And now, after all these years, they've given me the title of vice president. But that's what I do. But who I am really boils down to is I'm a Jesus follower. I'm a father, a soon-to-be grandfather, awesome, and a sports aficionado, a lover of good fiction, and someone that just loves to do things with people and be around people. And I think that just sums me up in about 30 seconds.
There you go. All right, so let's clear the deck really quick. Who are you're a sports aficionado? Who are your teams?
Well, I live here in Dallas, and and I've lived here now for 38 years. And so, after a while, you do have to root for the home team.
Right.
But growing up, in baseball, it was the Cleveland Indians and then the Philadelphia Phillies. That's waned because I haven't been around those teams for a lot of years. In football, the Eagles, because we lived in Philadelphia at the time, but after a few years in Dallas, that went by the wayside because of the Eagles and Cowboys rivalry. But I'm a college basketball fan and college football fan too.
If you say the words North Carolina when you're a college basketball fan, you and I are going to be forever friends.
Wake Forest.
Okay, that's fine. It's fine. It's fine. It's not the other team in North Carolina that none of us want to talk about.
It's not Duke. It's not Duke. Sorry, or NC State. So you're okay.
All right, it's fine. It's fine. This is fine. Wait. I have to back up because you said Cleveland Indians. There's not a lot of. Are you from Cleveland? Because there's not a lot.
I was born in the Cleveland area. Yes.
Where?
Lakewood, Ohio.
Okay. All right. So I'm from Bedford, Ohio. I have a tattoo with 216 on it. Everybody that listens to this podcast knows I am Cleveland through and through, except for the Browns. But it was just shocking to people. But all right. So see, there we go.
The first baseball game I ever went to was the Cleveland Indians game when I was like 4 or 5 years old.
They're the Guardians now. So I don't know if we're allowed to even say we might have broke a lot of rules, John, in the first 5 minutes of this podcast. they're the Guardians now. All right, we didn't come on here to talk about sports, but I'm so fascinated by all that. I am a huge fan of I Am Second. Let's just start with the assumption that by some chance, which would be amazing to me, but by some chance, if someone has not heard of I Am Second, I'm sure they've seen the white chair. I'm sure they've seen a bracelet on an athlete, but let's just assume no one's heard of I Am Second. Can you give a 5-minute elevator speech of what I Am Second is?
5 minutes or 15 seconds?
You do you. Let's just tell people what I Am Second is.
Sure. I Am Second, at its core, delivers stories of people who are faith-oriented, who follow Jesus, and point to their testimonials as a way to communicate about their story. At the same time, those stories are intended to lead as a means to an end. We want to share those stories. We want people to be attracted to them. We want people to come to the I Am Second website where they can encounter additional messaging that helps people to learn how to become second. That's our terminology, or in more Christian terms would be to accept Christ as their savior.
Yeah.
And to take next steps in a relationship with Jesus. And we offer some next steps that people can encounter on the website. And then some additional steps that can be connected with people off the website. So that our goal is to reach out in as many ways as we can to as many people as we can with a messaging that is fresh. It's designed to cut through the clutter of what people encounter in the mainstream and separates us from what people would turn away from as traditional ministry. We are designed to be in the middle of those two extremes and appeal to people who are intrigued and want to go a step deeper than where they are now.
And you all are exactly that. What I love, and again, so that you and I talked a little bit pregame here before we recorded. Unscripted is about stories, and so people tell their stories. They're messy sometimes they make you cry. Hopefully I've made some people laugh. There's a lot of great stories, but how many interviews have you all done, John?
Well, we're up over 150 now.
150 interviews. And those interviews, you have a wide variety, from music to sports to reality TV. You've had the Dynasty on. You've had literally, you all have to go to the website. You all cover a very wide span, and not every story is, I grew up in the church. My family went to church every Sunday. I accepted Jesus when I was a kid. I think it's fair to say, maybe you can correct me, but I think it's fair to say that a lot of the stories are messy because we're messy. As a society, we're messy. And we need, what I love about I Am Second is those messages hit. There's going to be, in those 150 interviews you've done with the white chair, there's going to be a message in there, whether it's my marriage, my personal addictions. Gosh, there's so many. And I love that you all have them categorized in a way. When I go to the website, I can find exactly what I'm looking for, whether I'm struggling with addiction or I'm battling depression, or and I'm putting words in your mouth possibly, but if I can find what I'm looking for on that website, and I can find someone that I will notice, it's a celebrity, it's a name, it's a brand, whatever it might be, that I'm going to recognize, that I can then identify with, that has the exact same struggle, but has found the hope that you and I believe in. Is that fair to say?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And, you talked about the mess. If you look at it, it's messy and it's painful and a lot of times uncomfortable to be watching some of that, but there's always a transformation. It's a little bit different in how the transformation is told or what that transformation may result in, but there's always a transformation of God at work in people's lives, and that he is meeting them where they are at. And that's the element that we want to put in virtually every film that we have. Now, sometimes we have those, I grew up in the church, and right. I'm just like you down the street. But there was a moment in my life where things got a little bit out of kilter, or things surprised me and I wasn't ready for it. And I had to turn to God at that moment to get me through that situation. So we do have some of those stories, right, but the vast majority of them are the transformational stories.
And thank you for clarifying that, because I don't want everybody to think that they're going to go find this messy video at the beginning and then it ends in this. Doug and I have talked about this. What I love, Doug Bender, in case I didn't mention him yet, writes a lot of your books. And he is just a wonderful human being. I'm a huge fan of Doug. We talked about, right behind you, there's a poster for Loud Crazy Love. There's no better example than Brian Welsh, right? Most everybody knows him from Korn. They know a band that was not necessarily, certainly wasn't a Christian band. That film, I sat in tears when I got to preview the film, because it told a story that was messy, but yet it told the story of a father's love, and I really appreciated that film. And I appreciate Brian. I appreciate Brian's been very public about his struggles, because we're all going to go through them. It's been amazing. So again, once again, I'm going to say thank you 1,000 times during this, but thank you for Loud Crazy Love.
Well, but even that Loud Crazy Love film, we didn't vary from what we like to tell. There's pain, there's a transformation that takes place in the result. That's some common themes you'll see in everything that we do. Mm-hmm. That said, it was filmed a little differently, obviously, than our white chair. Mm-hmm. We were able to have the access that not many people would be able to have with the band and with Brian, with his daughter. And the end result was a film that was probably too uncomfortable for mainstream Christianity or for traditional Christianity. Mm-hmm. It's going to take a church with a vision to go ahead and show that in their church, right, in their sanctuary. At the same time, it probably was a little too niche for a mainstream release in the theaters and things like that to get picked up. It won awards, but the Lord directed it and put it on probably the best place that it could be, and that was on Showtime.
Right.
Where to have the gospel salted into the film and told on that network, and to have it viewed as many times as it was, it turned out to be, I think, more popular than they thought it was going to be at the beginning. And they kept running it throughout the 2 years that we had to deal with them. So we were very pleased at how the Lord directed that and used that within that environment.
I'm not sure he's done yet. And we're unscripted, so I can say things that I don't know if it's PC or whatever you want to call it. But because at the end of the day, like, if my kid pulls up TikTok, John, this, if my child pulls up TikTok, they can hear, see, it's not politically correct. It's not filtered. My kids I hear things on TikTok all the time. So, God forbid a film, now I'm a little political, but if God forbid a film that has a wonderful message, it's edgy, right? And I'll say this too. I think I love Christian films. They're wonderful. I'm not going to mention any by name. I love Christian films, but what I don't like is that it's prepackaged, it's wonderful, and everybody wins in the end. Sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes there's a story like Brian's, and that's what I appreciate about Loud Crazy Love is it was real life. It was a documentary, and it's real and it's raw, and just like your white chairs. That's what I appreciate about you guys. It's not a prepackaged, and this isn't any commentary on any of the other stuff. What I love about let's just focus on what you all do, right? And that's the fact that it's raw. And sometimes, look, right, life is raw. This morning, life for me was raw. It wasn't easy. And what I appreciate is when I can see someone that maybe I look to, or listen to their music, or play a game, or watch on TV, whatever it might be. The 150 people you've had on, I can identify with the fact that they've struggled with the same things I struggle with. Just stage is just different. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Awesome. And we've intentionally done that. It's not something that we take lightly. Since day one, we've been very careful about who we film, how we film them, when we film them, and tried to achieve a standard of excellence, a standard of focus throughout these 13 years.
You have. I'll just say it. You have. At least for a guy in Columbus, Ohio, you have. And I shared this with Doug as well for anyone that listened before. My son and I printed off in a 3-ring binder resources that you all had for a devotional at one point. So not only does the website have video, it's not all just about videos. As you said earlier, there's resources there. There's a lot of resources there for people, and they're free. That's unbelievable. They're free. What are some of the resources that people can find on the website?
Well, first off, what we encourage people to do is to join our community.
There you go.
And that is fairly recent addition to the website, to have a community where people, all they have to do is give their email. There's no cost or anything like that. But they just join the community. That gives them access to additional blogs, additional information, additional short films, some exclusive type of merch offers that we have, gear for I'm Second, apparel and things like that. But more than that, it also gives them some tools to check where they are spiritually. What are they, are they sharing the gospel with other people? Are they helping to lead other people? Are they involved in a study? And it's a checkup that they can have. And then we offer opportunities for them to immediately learn how to do some of those things, how to know your story and be able to share it with other people, how to know how to share the gospel, God's story, with other people, how to get involved and lead a Discovery Bible group, how to learn how to do prayer and be part of a prayer team that we put together for I'm Second. So there's some easy next steps for people to take when they're in that community. In addition to that, all of our films have a discussion guide that can be used with small groups. We also have some very simple next steps and videos of first videos on how to accept Christ as your Savior and why and what He did for us. Plus some next steps for people who have accepted Christ as their Savior. And there's just a ton of tools on that, as well as links to, for example, the Loud Crazy Love documentary and the Many Other Wonders documentary and the End of Malice documentary that are not located on the website, but there are places in the internet where they can find those.
And I love all that because I think you all have been very intentional with the entire, and I can't imagine the whiteboard diagram of what it looks like
Sure.
to make sure all these boxes are checked. Because, I can go on YouTube and find an inspirational video. There's a million of them out there. I mean, there really is. But what's next? And what I love is you all don't just leave somebody in that position of, okay, I was moved. I think I'm ready to make a decision, or whatever it might be. You all then provide all of those resources. Yet another reason why I just love I Am Second and what you guys do. Absolutely. All right. So you mentioned merch. We have to talk about merch, the bracelets, the hash. I see it on Twitter. I'm a big Twitter guy, so I see a lot of people has hashtag I Am Second. The movement, is it okay can I call it a movement, or should I call it
Absolutely.
movement? Okay. The movement is huge. I ordered a shirt myself long before I've ever met Doug, and long before you and I had this conversation. I ordered a shirt. And I think the shirt, doesn't it come with a card that says something like, be ready to, what does it say?
Some of them do. Some of them do. Mhm.
Some of them do. What does it say? It says something like, be ready to have a conversation.
That's right. Warning, wearing this apparel may cause spontaneous conversations with
That's
others.
right. That's right. And it does. I'm telling you, so my wife and I, long before, about 100 pounds ago, I ran a half marathon in Nashville, and I wore the I Am Second shirt. And all along the path, people were like, who's first? I mean, people were yelling, and I was just trying to get through the race. But at the end of the day, look, you better, if you wear an I Am Second bracelet, a shirt, you have it in your hashtag on your Twitter, you better be ready to answer the question, and you all have the resources to do that. So it's not just a cool fashion trend.
Right.
If you order it, you better be ready. And I'm encouraging people to check out the site. If you have one of those, be ready to answer that question, because it's going to come. Is that fair to say?
Absolutely. Absolutely. We originally we didn't intend on doing merch. We had a campaign that was targeted to the Dallas-Fort Worth area when we started using advertising, and then people would see some films, and then we direct them and connect them with churches in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. And then within a few weeks, it had blown up into in an international movement. And then we started getting requests for T-shirts. And we tried to start out doing them ourselves, and that was it was a futile attempt. And so we ended up working with another outside firm to go ahead and handle all of that. And from a financial standpoint, it really doesn't generate a whole lot. We try to get the best pricing that we can that covers the shipping and everything, but we do want people to wear them for this very purpose, to start those conversations that they wouldn't have normally. And it happens all around the world. It happens with bracelets, T-shirts, and other items that we make available. And people can find those at imsecondstore.com, or just come to the website and click on store.
Right.
But another thing that we do offer too, though, is for people that are using or would like to use the films in places where there's no internet signal, we do make available places where they can download. There's a small fee associated with that, but so they can use them in churches or on the field in mission, activities that doesn't have a good internet signal, so that they can have them on their device. And those are available as well.
So many resources. And I think the reason why you and I connected, and I didn't even ask you before we pre-gamed how much time we have. So how much time do you have?
Fine, thanks.
Okay, you're fine. All right.
For you, Aaron, we've got all day.
Too kind. And we talked there's a lot of intersections. I actually wrote a blog post about Miley Cyrus once that's somewhere in the archives on I Am Second. I don't know if you'll ever find it, but all right. So we originally connected but geez, 15 minutes before we launched, I opened Twitter in between my two interviews today. I opened Twitter, and there's a brand new video. What do we got today? What happened today? It just launched.
So this is a film. You're talking about, raw and real. This is a film on Joey Kelly, and it's a man from the Austin, Texas area who just went through a horrific and tragic situation when he was 10 years old. And I'm not going to give away exactly what happened to it, but no kid would want to go through that and see that, be a witness to that. And basically, he almost died in the situation. God protected him. He survived. And since that time, he has lived with survivor's guilt and PTSD. And it got to the point where he just had to come clean with the Lord and confess that to the Lord and ask the Lord for help. And the Lord's provided a way out of that for him to deal with that. And he also provides encouragement for people who have been dealing with similar types of feelings. The whole concept of mental health is front and center now. Didn't used to be, but it is now. We see it in athletics. We see it in all sorts of places.
Right.
And this is real. PTSD is real. Survivor's guilt is real in certain situations. But God can still show up in the middle of that and help navigate the situation.
We won't
that's
give
what we have here.
We won't give any more away. You got to go look at it. It's on. Where can they find it? Let's put it that way. Where can they find it?
Just IamSecond.com is the best place to go, or on our YouTube channel at I'm Second YouTube channel.
There you go. So no more. Hot off the presses, like literally 10 minutes before we did this interview, whenever, I don't know when people hear it, but 10 minutes today before we hit this interview, that one dropped. The reason why we got this interview was to talk about the I Am Home promotion, which my wife and I, and most people listen to this know that my wife and I came this close. We were a phone call away from moving to Nashville. And particularly, it would have been awesome to move to Franklin because I'm just a huge fan. But that being said, there's a little promotion that's going on right now. What's that all about?
Well, it's pretty amazing, actually. We were blessed with a home builder in the area, the Nashville area, who's a friend of our ministry. And he said that, hey, I would love to do something for my Nashville community and for I Am Second. And wouldn't it be great if we could just build a house for you all that could be raffled off. And you can split the proceeds between you and another charity. And the other charity in the area is Vanderbilt Children's Medical Center, Vanderbilt Hospital Children's Medical Center. And they're a great partner to have in this. The house is in Franklin, Tennessee. It's just been staged now with furniture, and the drawing for this is going to happen on November the 27th. And so people in the Franklin area will love it, but even in Nashville or even in Tennessee can participate in it. You have to be in the state of Tennessee when you go online to purchase a ticket.
So I'm out.
But if you have somebody that in Tennessee that purchases it for you, then you can. And the website explains the cost that's involved. But I would say this: it's a very there's the odds of winning are a lot better than what you would get at the lottery. That's for certain. It's not designed to be a huge deal. It's just an opportunity for someone in the area for very small, comparatively, entry fee to win a home that they're going to love forever.
Yeah.
And it's a very nice home in a very nice neighborhood. And, people will be very happy with it. At the same time, they would be blessing through the proceeds to charities that I hope they would find worthy.
It's a beautiful home from what I've seen. And you've got several people attached to this. So we'll talk about them in a second, because there's several people attached to it that are helping to promote it. It is a beautiful home, and Franklin is beautiful. I just wish I lived in Tennessee because I would apply, but I can't. So, all right. Who's attached to it? Because there's several people attached.
Well, it's been wonderful to see some of those seconds. We call the people with the films on the site seconds, and who live in the Nashville area to be part of this. And so you have Mike Fisher, former Predators, star. You've got Kathy Lee Gifford, who has moved recently to Tennessee. You've got Jeff Fisher, the former Titans and St. Louis coach. You have Mariah Peters Smallbone, who's a Christian singer and part of the King and Country family.
Awesome.
At least. And so, and there's others in the Nashville area, other seconds that have stepped up and are being part of it. Scott Hamilton, I think, is out there today being part of it. So it's been wonderful to see the I'm Seconds family there in Nashville to really get behind the project.
And for people that aren't hockey fans, Mike Fisher's married to someone else they may know, right?
Yeah, maybe. Just, yeah, I think it's Carrie
something, right? Carrie Underwood, that's right. And they've been big I Am Second supporters, and they've done great videos. They're awesome.
Absolutely.
Wonderful couple. Now you mentioned one other thing. Did I forget? There's one other thing, right?
So yeah, that's what we call the My Second Story Challenge.
Okay.
And that I mentioned earlier about the common theme that we have of, yes, we show how people were, we show how they encountered Jesus, and we show how they are now. And we have that same story. Those that follow Jesus, we have that same story. It may be different in the process that we took, or it may be different in the characteristics that we were and are now than the films that we showed at I'mSecond.com. But we all have that story. And so through the My Second Story Challenge, we have a very simple way that people can learn how to be able to know and tell their story in 30 seconds or less.
Okay.
It's prompts that we have that show people how they can go ahead and fill in the blanks and come up with their own story. But the next step after that is not just to know the story and to do a little exercise, but can you share that story with somebody else when the opportunity comes? So we have examples of how that's done as well. And the challenge comes is, are you willing to go ahead and share that with whatever social media platform that you are a part of? And that's where we are giving people the challenge to do that. And we will feature them at the I'm Second website on the page that we have dedicated to it, or in I'm Second social media, when they go ahead and do that, or potentially when they do that.
I love that.
So I would just encourage everybody to go to I'm Second, I'mSecond.com. And at the very top, there's going to be a link to the page for the My Second Story Challenge. Or if you're really quick here, you can go to I'mSecond.com/MSSC. And that'll take you there as well.
And all of the links that we've talked about will be in the post. But at the end of the day, I'mSecond.com. That is your hub. That is where you will find everything that we have discussed. But I love that. I really do. Because, it's easy to say, it's easy to put a hashtag, and I'm guilty. It's easy to put a hashtag in my Twitter bio or my Instagram bio that says #I'mSecond. Are you willing to talk about it? Are you willing to be second and put yourself out there and really be second and let your social media network know you are second, because honestly, I'll say this too, this may not be nice, I don't know, because the reality is if you put that in your bio, your social media feed, whether it's TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, it should probably follow that. Do my friends at I Am Second the honor of and respect of making sure your feed follows that. I'll say it for you, since I can say it for you because it's my show. You better do them the favor. Don't just put it in your bio. Live it. I think that's the point I wanted to make. Live it, because people are watching.
We want people to live second in everything they do, and that's really the name of our community, is the Live Second community.
Yep.
And these are Live Second challenges that we offer. Our hope is that people will go ahead and take the first step, which is doing this My Second Story Challenge. And when they post it, put the hashtag My Second Story Challenge with it so we can see it. But if that was too easy for them, we have another challenge for them. It is also located on our website, and that's learning how to tell God's story.
Okay.
and we make it easy as possible with short videos, short background information, and we give the tools right there for people to be able to do it. If I can do it, everybody else can do it.
That's right. I love it. You guys are my favorite, literally. And I mean that genuinely. And anybody that knows me knows that. Did we cover, is there anything we missed? Is there anything
outside of that, the fact that it's 13 years, but it doesn't seem like 13. It seems like one. Yeah. And it seems like we're still, generating films following the Lord's leading. Mm-hmm. And there's new films that we offer all throughout the year. So it's not a one and done situation. Mm-hmm. People should check back to I'm Second regularly, especially if they are able to join the community, because there's even more things that are available through the community. That's where we really want people to go, is to be part of our Live Second community alongside thousands of other people, and know that they're not alone, that they're part of something bigger than themselves, and that they can make an impact exactly where they are and how God has placed them.
Absolutely. And you all, again, you don't just give a video. There's a roadmap. There's a way and resources to do everything that they need to do to continue to live second. It's not just a hashtag. It's not just a wristband. It's really more important than that. And you all have done a fantastic job of continuing to support them, whether it's the blog, the videos, the resources available, and most of it is free. It's all there on the website. The website again is I Am Second, correct?
IamSecond.com.
Sorry, I forgot the .com. IamSecond.com. There you go. Well, you all have been very good to me. You all have been very, very good to me. Doug has been wonderful to me. The books that he has written are just another resource that we just scratched the surface of, but there's phenomenal resources out there. And you all have been very good to me. And I'm so, so thankful, honestly, that you would give me your time today as the VP of a group that I'm, a movement, a ministry that I'm such a fan of. I'm so thankful for our time.
Well, thank you, Aaron. And thank you for all that you do.
Absolutely. Well, you always have an open platform. So the next time you release a movie or a video, let me know and we'll get it up. But thank you so much. I've really enjoyed our conversation, and go to IamSecond.com. Get started today.
Thanks for joining us for another episode of the Unscripted podcast with your host, Aaron Conrad, from his studio at the Junction in Old Hilliard. Make sure to like, share, follow, and review on your favorite podcast platforms. Also, make sure to check out my song Great and Mighty One on Spotify, iTunes, or wherever you find your music. We'll see you next time on Unscripted with Aaron Conrad.
Mary redeemed a $50,000 cash prize playing Chumba Casino online.
I was only playing for fun, so winning was a dream come true.
Chumba Casino is America's favorite free online social casino. You too could have the chance to win life-changing cash prizes. Absolutely anybody could be like Mary. Be like Mary. Log on to ChumbaCasino.com and play for free now. No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. 18+ terms and conditions apply. See website for details. The voice in the preceding commercial was not the actual voice of the winner.